Hello, Namaste, Adab, Sat Shri Akal. Welcome to the next episode of Rightfully Yours, your place for stories, poetry and life talks, किस्से कहानियाँ कविताएं और ढेर सारी बातें, थोड़ा ज्ञान, थोड़ी गपशप. जैसा कि मैंने लास्ट एपिसोड में कहा था कि इस एपिसोड में मैं एक कहानी सुनाने वाली हूँ. पिछले में भी सुनाई थी ज़िंदगी की कहानी. उम्मीद है आपको पसंद आई होगी. अगर नहीं आई है, नहीं देखी है तो ज़रूर देखिएगा. मेरे दिल का एक टुकड़ा है, अ पीस ऑफ माई हार्ट. सो एनीवेज, सो टुडे आई हैव ब्रॉट अ टाइमलेस टेल फॉर यू. And in today's episode, we are going to delve into O. Henry's masterpiece, The Last Leaf. Yes. It's one of the greatest short stories written till now, I can say. ये ऐसी कहानी है जो दोस्ती, उम्मीद, पैशन और कुर्बानी की मिसाल कायम करती है. अगर आपने ऑलरेडी पढ़ी है तो मेरी ज़ुबानी सुनिए. आई एम श्योर आपको अच्छी लगेगी. अगर नहीं पढ़ी है तो ज़रूर सुनिए. Stay till end. And I would tell you one more very interesting fact. Have you seen this film Lutera that came in 2013, starring Ranveer Singh and Sonakshi Sinha? So that film is loosely based on the story, The Last Leaf. So this film is set in 1950s Bengal, Lutera, that follows the story of a young woman named Pakhi who falls in love with a man named Varun, and Pakhi is an aspiring writer. So this film beautifully captures themes of love, loss and the human spirit, much like the original short story. So, loose kids, let's get started. I will read it from my laptop and stay tuned. In a small part of the city west of Washington Square, the streets have gone wild. They turn in different directions. They are broken into small pieces called places. One street goes across itself one or two times. A painter once discovered something possible and valuable about the street. Suppose a painter had some painting materials for which he had not paid. Suppose he had no money. Suppose a man came to get the money. The man might walk down that street and suddenly meet himself coming back without having received a cent. What a nice description. This part of the city is called Greenwich Village. And to old Greenwich Village, the painters soon came. Here they found rooms they like, with good light and at a low cost. So this is something similar to Berlin. Berlin was considered once as a city in Europe for artists because of its affordable cost of living. So Greenwich Village is similar kind of setup for artists. Let's continue. Sue and Johnsy lived at the top of a building with 3 floors. One of these young women came from Maine, the other from California. They had met at a restaurant on English Street. There they discovered that they liked the same kind of art, the same kind of food and the same kind of clothes. So they decided to live and work together. That was in the spring. Towards winter, a cold stranger entered Greenwich Village. Okay, listen to this carefully. Towards winter, a cold stranger entered Greenwich Village. No one could see him. He walked around touching one person here and another there with his icy fingers. He was a bad sickness. Doctors called him pneumonia. Now see, I think this is something aspiring writers or anybody who want to convey their stories or their feelings through words should learn from such classic stories. So how pneumonia has been personified here, how beautifully it has been described, or in a nicely strange way. Okay, so doctors called him pneumonia. On the east side of the city, he hurried, touching many people. But in the narrow streets of Greenwich Village, he did not move so quickly. Mr. Pneumonia was not a nice old gentleman. A nice old gentleman would never hurt a weak little woman from California. But Mr. Pneumonia touched Johnsy with his cold fingers. She lay on her bed almost without moving, and she looked through the window at the wall of the house next to hers. One morning, the busy doctor spoke to Sue alone in the hall where Johnsy could not hear. "She has a very small chance," he said. "She has a chance if she wants to live. If people don't want to live, I can't do much for them. Your little lady has decided that she is not going to get well. Is there something that is troubling her?" "She always wanted to go to Italy and paint a picture of the Bay of Naples," said Sue. "Paint, not paint. Is there anything worth being troubled about? A man?" "A man?" said Sue. "Is a man worth?" "No, doctor, there's not a man." "It is weakness," said the doctor. "I will do all I know how to do. But when a sick person begins to feel that he is going to die, half my work is useless. Talk to her about new winter clothes. If she were interested in the future, her chances would be better." After the doctor had gone, Sue went into the workroom to cry. I will again touch on the point how pneumonia is personified here, how beautiful, skillful writing it is. So Mr. Pneumonia, एक ठंडा अदृश्य अजनबी जो ग्रीनविच विलेज में घूमता है और अपनी बर्फीली उंगलियों से लोगों को छूता है और बीमार कर देता है. And then, how well the condition is described. If somebody doesn't want to live, कोई खुद से जीने की उम्मीद छोड़ दे, तो फिर उसके लिए कुछ भी कर पाना बहुत ही मुश्किल है. So anyways, let's move forward. After the doctor had gone, Sue went into the workroom to cry. Then she walked to Johnsy's room. She carried some of her painting materials and she was singing. Johnsy lay there, very thin and very quiet. Her face was turned towards the window. Sue stopped singing, thinking that Johnsy was asleep. Sue began to work. As she worked, she heard a low sound again and again. She went quickly to the bedside. Johnsy's eyes were open wide. She was looking out the window and counting back. 12, she said, and a little later 11, and then 10, and 9, and then 8 and 7, almost together. Sue looked out the window. What was there to count? There was only the side wall of the next house, a short distance away. The wall had no window. An old tree grew against the wall. The cold breath of winter had already touched it. Almost all its leaves had fallen from its dark branches. "What is it, dear?" asked Sue. 6, said Johnsy in a voice still lower. "They are falling faster now. 3 days ago, they were almost 100. It hurt my head to count them, but now it's easy. See, there goes another one. There are only 5 now. 5 what, dear? Tell you, Sue. Leaves on the tree. When the last one falls, I must go too. I have known that for 3 days. Didn't the doctor tell you? Oh, I never heard of such a thing, said Sue. It doesn't have any sense in it. What does an old tree have to do with you or with your getting well? And you used to love that tree so much. Don't be a little fool. The doctor told me your chances for getting well. He told me this morning. He said you had a very good chance. Try to eat a little now and then I will go back to work. And then I can sell my picture and then I can buy something more for you to eat to make you strong. You don't have to buy anything for me, said Johnsy. She still looked out the window. There goes another. No, I don't want anything to eat. Now there are 4. I want to see the last one fall before night. Then I will go too. Johnsy dear, said Sue. Will you promise me to close your eyes and keep them closed? Will you promise not to look out the window until I finish working? I must have this picture ready tomorrow. I need the light. I can't cover the window. Couldn't you work in the other room? Asked Johnsy coldly. I would rather be here by you, said Sue. And I don't want you to look at those leaves. Tell me as soon as you have finished, said Johnsy. She closed her eyes and lay white and still. Because I want to see the last leaf fall. I have done enough waiting. I have done enough thinking. I want to go sailing down like one of those leaves. Try to sleep, said Sue. I must call Behrman to come up here. Sorry, Behrman. I must call Behrman to come up here. I want to paint a man in this picture and I will make him look like Behrman. I won't be gone a minute. Don't try to move till I come back. Now who is Behrman? Okay, now listen carefully. Sorry for my cringy chair. Old Behrman was a painter who lived on the first floor of the house. He was past 60. He had had no success as a painter. For 40 years, he had painted without ever painting a good picture. He had always talked of painting a great picture, a masterpiece, but he had never yet started it. He got a little money by letting others paint pictures of him. He drank too much. He still talked of his great masterpiece. And he believed that it was his special duty to do everything possible to help Sue and Johnsy. Sue found him in his dark room and she knew that he had been drinking. She could smell it. She told him about Johnsy and the leaves on the vine. She said that she was afraid that Johnsy would indeed sail down like the leaf. Her hold on the world was growing weaker. Old Behrman shouted his anger over such an idea. What? He cried. Are there such fools? Do people die because leaves drop off a tree? I have not heard of such a thing. No, I will not come up and sit while you make a picture of me. Why do you allow her to think such a thing, that poor little Johnsy? She is very sick and weak, said Sue. The sickness has put these strange ideas into her mind. Mr. Behrman, if you won't come, you won't. But I don't think you're very nice. This is like a woman, shouted Behrman. Who said I will not come? Go, I come with you. For half an hour I have been trying to say that I will come. God, this is not any place for someone so good as Johnsy to lie sick. Someday I shall paint my masterpiece and we shall all go away from there. God, yes. Johnsy was sleeping when they went up. Sue covered the window and took Behrman into the other room. There, they looked out the window fearfully at the tree. Then they looked at each other for a moment without speaking. A cold rain was falling, with a little snow in it too. Behrman sat down and Sue began to paint. She worked through most of the night. In the morning, after an hour's sleep, she went to Johnsy's bedside. Johnsy, with wide open eyes, was looking towards the window. I want to see, she told Sue. Sue took the cover from the window. But after the beating rain and the wild wind that had not stopped through the whole night, there still was one leaf to be seen against the wall. It was the last on the tree. It was still dark green near the branch, but at the edges, it was turning yellow with age. There it was hanging from a branch nearly 20 feet above the ground. It is the last one, said Johnsy. I thought it would surely fall during the night. I heard the wind. It will fall today and I shall die at the same time. Dear, dear Johnsy, said Sue, think of me. If you won't think of yourself, what would I do? But Johnsy did not answer. The most lonely thing in the world is a soul when it is preparing to go on its far, far journey. दुनिया में सबसे अकेली चीज़ वो आत्मा है जो अपनी रहस्यमय सुदूर यात्रा के लिए तैयार हो रही है। मृत्यु का रहस्यमय यात्रा के रूप में रूपक। Amazing and touching at the same time. Anyways, I will repeat. But Johnsy did not answer. The most lonely thing in the world is a soul when it is preparing to go on its far journey. The ties that held her to friendship and to earth were breaking one by one. The day slowly passed. As it grew dark, they could still see the leaf hanging from its branch against the wall. And then, as night came, the north wind began again to blow. The rain still beat against the windows. When it was light enough the next morning, Johnsy again commanded that she be allowed to see. The leaf was still there. Johnsy lay for a long time looking at it. And then she called to Sue, who was cooking something for her to eat. I have been a bad girl, Sue, said Johnsy. Something has made that last leaf stay there to show me how bad I was. It is wrong to want to die. I will try to eat now. But first, bring me a looking glass so that I can see myself, and then I will sit up and watch you cook. An hour later, she said, Sue, someday I hope to paint the Bay of Naples. The doctor came in the afternoon. Sue followed him into the hall outside Johnsy's room to talk to him. The chances are good, said the doctor. He took Sue's thin, shaking hand is his. In his, give her good care and she will get well. And now I must see another sick person in this house. His name is Behrman, a painter, I believe. Pneumonia too. Mike is an old, weak man and he's very ill. There is no hope for him. But we take him to the hospital today. We will make it as easy for him as we can. The next day, the doctor said to Sue, she is safe. You have done it. Food and care now. That's all. And that afternoon, Sue came to the bed where Johnsy lay. She put one arm around her. I have something to tell you, she said. What? Johnsy asked. Mr. Behrman died of pneumonia today in the hospital. He was ill only 2 days. Someone found him on the morning of the first day in his room. He was helpless with pain. His shoes and his clothes were wet and as cold as ice. Everyone wondered where he had been. The night had been so cold and wild. And then they found some things. There was a light that he had taken outside, and they were his materials for painting. There was paint, green paint and yellow paint, and look out the window there at the last leaf on the wall. Didn't you wonder why it never moved when the wind was blowing? Oh my dear, it is Behrman's great masterpiece. He painted it there the night that the last leaf fell. Antim patta, the last leaf. जीवन, आशा और कला की शक्ति का प्रतीक है ना, सिंबल ऑफ लाइफ, सिंबल ऑफ होप and creativity, of passion, of sacrifice. एक तूफानी रात के बाद भी जॉन्सी ने देखा कि आखिरी पत्ता अब भी वहाँ था और उस पत्ते की मजबूती ने उसके अंदर जीने की चाहत जगाई। उसने सोचा, अगर ये पत्ता गिर नहीं रहा तो मैं भी लड़ सकती हूँ। और जब जॉन्सी ठीक होने लगी तब स्यू ने उसे बताया कि वो पत्ता असली नहीं था। बेहरमान ने उस रात अपनी जान की परवाह किए बिना उस पत्ते को दीवार पर पेंट किया था ताकि जॉन्सी की उम्मीद जिंदा रहे। ये है ताकत उम्मीद की और ये थी बेहरमान का मास्टरपीस, एक आखिरी कुर्बानी। So, wasn't the story a masterpiece? Like that last leaf painted by Behrman. Really, the story teaches us so much, the immense power of hope and sacrifice. How our small acts of help can transform someone else's life. So, with similar stories, we will meet again in the next episode. Until then, take good care of yourself and keep the flame of hope alive, of passion alive. Thank you for tuning in to Rightfully Yours. Stay inspired, stay hopeful. Namaste.